The story begins with a thunderous explosion as a massive rock breaks apart under the scorching sun, where several prisoners are working hard, breaking stones. Among them is a man named John Rambo. Suddenly, the guards signal him to stop. Someone has come to meet him. Years ago, Rambo used to be part of the Special Forces. Now he lays down his axe and follows a guard toward the gate. Standing there is a familiar face, Colonel Troutman. Rambo and Colonel Troutman had fought together during the Vietnam War. However, after the war, Rambo surrendered himself to the authorities to avoid the death penalty. Since then, Troutman had been making every effort to get his capable soldier out of prison. Troutman requests a private meeting and informs Rambo that the government needs him once again. American soldiers are still being held captive deep inside Vietnam, in the same prison camp from which Rambo had once escaped. No one knows that jungle better than Rambo. Troutman believes only Rambo has the skills and experience to complete this mission. He explains that Rambo's job is to infiltrate the enemy camp and gather photographic evidence of how many American soldiers are still alive. Rambo remains silent, showing no immediate interest. His trust in the government has long since been shattered, and he has no desire to return to the place where he was tortured. Still, staying in prison would mean 5 more years of hard labor. Troutman knows what Rambo truly desires. So he promises that if Rambo survives and completes the mission, he'll be reinstated into the military on the president's orders. Hearing this, Rambo thinks it over. He has no purpose in life anymore, no friends, no family. What would a free man like him even do? But maybe, just maybe, saving the lives of those innocent soldiers trapped in enemy territory could give his life some meaning again. Eventually, Rambo agrees. Soon, he's flown by helicopter to a U.S. military base in Thailand. On the helipad, he meets a young operative named Erickson, who expresses his excitement about working with the legendary Rambo. Inside, Rambo is introduced to Colonel Troutman again, and a high-ranking official named Marshal Murdoch. Murdoch is deeply impressed after reviewing Rambo's service record and medals. But he also questions if Rambo will follow orders, considering his violent history with the police, a reference to the first Rambo movie. Murdoch then claims he too served in the Vietnam War and shares the number of his battalion. Many brave soldiers under his command had lost their lives in battle. According to intelligence reports, around 2,500 American soldiers are still missing. Their families are demanding answers. Are they alive or not? Murdoch assigns Rambo a recon mission to infiltrate the camp and take pictures of any surviving POWs, prisoners of war. He strictly forbids Rambo from engaging in combat. The government first needs solid proof to justify a military response. If Rambo returns with evidence, a rescue mission will be greenlit. But Rambo's heart doesn't agree with the idea of leaving the prisoners behind after gathering evidence. Though outwardly calm, the fire of battle reignites within him. Troutman explains the plan in detail. Rambo will parachute into the enemy zone. This time, he's given more weapons and equipment than before. Troutman advises him to use them wisely, since he'll be operating solo. Rambo is then shown the operations command center, filled with modern surveillance technology to track his every move. He is also told that a Vietnamese woman named Co Bao will assist him during the mission. Murdoch assures Rambo that everything will go smoothly, but Rambo isn't convinced. He states that in Vietnam, there is no such thing as security. Murdoch becomes uneasy and calls Troutman aside. Troutman reassures him. Rambo is the best soldier from the Vietnam War, and only he can complete this mission. He can single-handedly take on an entire battalion and won't hesitate to risk his life if needed. Before departing, Rambo sharpens his signature knife, loads his rifle, secures additional weapons, and gets ready. Troutman wishes him luck. Rambo has exactly 36 hours to complete the mission and reach the extraction point. Before leaving, Rambo confides in Troutman Murdoch lied. His unit never served in Vietnam. They were stationed elsewhere. Still, Rambo says, "I trust you, and I won't follow anyone else's stupid orders." Soon, Erickson flies Rambo out on a plane while Murdoch and Troutman watch him depart. Murdoch remarks, "What if he doesn't find a single soldier?" His real aim isn't rescue, just to pacify the public by pretending they're taking action. But Rambo is determined to find and rescue the POWs no matter the cost. As he prepares to jump from the plane, disaster strikes. Rambo's parachute gets caught. He ends up dangling midair, stuck to the aircraft. Murdoch panics and orders the mission to be aborted. But Rambo slashes his rope with a knife, letting his heavy gear crash into the jungle below. He then deploys his parachute and jumps into the darkness. Murdoch orders troops to retrieve him, but Troutman suggests waiting at the extraction point. That's their best option. Meanwhile, Rambo safely lands and begins his journey into the jungle. He has minimal weapons, just a few knives and a bow with arrows, but his determination remains unshaken. Braving venomous snakes and other jungle dangers, he makes his way to an ancient temple. There, he spots a figure wearing a Vietnamese hat. Quietly approaching, he captures the figure from behind. It turns out to be Co Bao, his assigned local contact. She takes him to a nearby riverside and explains that the POW camp has long appeared abandoned. Still, they have a backup plan. Together, they reach a pirate base where they can hide from Vietnamese patrols. Though still risky, paying the pirates gets them passage across the river. Rambo asks how the pirates avoid military guards. Their leader laughs and shows a Russian rocket launcher. Along the way, Co Bao asks Rambo why he returned to Vietnam. He replies that after returning to America, he realized his war wasn't over. Life back home was full of challenges, discrimination, and rejection. But during the war, he felt alive, like he could fly. Co Bao shares her own story. After her father's death, she joined the intelligence service in his memory. But she's tired of seeing death all around her. She dreams of going to America and living peacefully. Touching her lucky necklace, she asks Rambo if he has a lucky charm. He shows her his knife and says, "As long as I have this, no one can kill me." Elsewhere, Troutman wants to send troops to the extraction point, confident that Rambo will return. Murdoch refuses, indifferent to Rambo's life. But after persistent urging, he finally agrees. Under the cover of darkness, Rambo and Co Bao arrive near the enemy camp. It's eerily quiet. As they move ahead, they spot a woman distracting the guards. Rambo readies his bow. Co Bao tries to stop him. She believes he's only here to take photos. But Rambo ignores her. Cutting through wires, he sneaks into the camp and hides in the shadows. It looks deserted. Crossing a small river, he reaches a building and hears moaning from inside. Peeking through, he finds American soldiers starving and barely alive. Rats scurry through the filthy room. Outside, he finds a soldier named Banks tied to a tree. Rambo quickly frees him, and they move forward stealthily. Suddenly, a Vietnamese guard appears. Rambo plunges a knife into his gut, killing him. Another guard switches on a flashlight. Rambo kills him with a swift arrow. A third guard spots Co Bao, but before he can act, Rambo kills him too. Now Rambo, Co Bao, and Banks escape the camp. But Rambo refuses to leave the other POWs behind. As dawn breaks, the Vietnamese discover their fallen comrades and launch an aggressive manhunt.